We won't, but we are recording on Zoom. So the link for that is right below the YouTube link on our website.
Okay, sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Um, For those of you who are new, just a quick reminder, remember to turn your mic on when you speak and talk directly into the mic. So not only can the audience and online hear, but also your fellow council members. And I would suggest you turn your mic off when you're not talking directly into it. It's very sensitive and it'll pick up everything you say. Announcements this evening. I have one, you have a new agenda in front of you this evening, different than the one that was sent to you in the packet, because we have added an executive session for non-elected personnel matters. And that's all I have. Nathan, you have a few?
I do have two, just some agenda corrections under consent. Item B, that should say claims and appropriations for December 2023. The ordinance is correct. It was just on the agenda itself. We put 2024. And then you probably noticed, we do not have the ILA or the super pass agreement. Those will be on next month's agenda.
On next month?
Mm.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First on the agenda is the monthly reports of the standing committees. The Consolidated Fire District Number 2, Chief Steve Chick is not here this evening, so we will let his report stand as submitted. Administration and Finance, Nathan?
The Administration and Finance Committee did not meet in December, so the report will stand as submitted. I'm happy to answer any questions. Just a couple things to point out. Underneath Building Department Report, you will see the monthly valuation for December was $43 million and change, almost $44 million. That's because one of the final permits was pulled for 4210. And so that resulted in a pretty big increase in valuation for construction permits for that month. And you'll see the total then for the year is 67,845,000. And so again, a good chunk of that is the 4210 redevelopment project. While we're on that subject, I will just note that we did have a few glitches, I will say, in the process when they were getting ready to do their first overnight pours that was approved by the council. We since worked with the contractor to make sure that that was smoothed out. But just to give you all a heads up, they will have their biggest pour coming up this Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That pour will start at 12:30 a.m. and they will likely be working through 9 p.m. on Thursday. So this is the podium that they're going to be pouring. So this will be the top of the parking garage. And then they'll be going vertical on top of that in the coming weeks. So the neighbors all received letters in the mail. Everyone within the 200-foot buffer zone received a letter in the mail. They also received a door hanger. They also have yard signs along 55th Street for the Roland Park residents, as well as Brookridge for the Fairway residents. So all of those notifications have been done. And hopefully it will be a smooth but chilly pour on Wednesday night into Thursday. So with that, I'll wrap up the administration report as far as finance goes. We did finish the year strong, as we discussed at the November Administration and Finance Committee meeting. We did transfer $750,000 from the general fund into the capital improvement fund. There will still be some tweaks to the final numbers for 2023. What you see in the packet are preliminary. The auditors will go back in now and move things from year to year as they like to do, just to make sure that everything is in the right calendar year. So that will still come. I will just note that there were primarily it was utilities, but the Shawnee Indian Mission Fund did run over budget. And if you see that, you can see it in the packet. It is over budget. So there will be some journal entries to move some of those utility expenses out of the Shawnee Indian Mission Fund into probably either administration or park and rec, just because statutorily that fund cannot end in a negative. But it will be the utilities, and then there's probably $2,000 that will move from maintenance as well. So that will be done just to make sure that that fund ends with an above negative zero balance or negative balance for the 2023. And aside from that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions for Nathan? On
Oh, I have-
admin, Jenna?
Jenna, Ward 4, I just thought of this, Nathan.
Jenna?
You want me
would
to-
you Please.
Try not to get anyone sick.
Thank you.
Jenna, Ward 4. Nathan, I just thought of this. For the new position at the Shawnee Indian Mission, which is great, is that coming out of our portion? And since we already budgeted for the next year, like, how does that work?
Sure. So we had budgeted, just so everyone knows, the foundation was looking at adding a part-time person that we were going to add as a city employee. That has since, just because of the way the reporting of that position and some concerns with Cora and Coma, or more specifically Cora concerns, we have decided that we would not be taking on that additional position. The foundation's going to do it directly. Yeah, yeah. So what?
They will handle that person as a contract.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we budgeted for the increase in revenue from the foundation to pay for that position, and as well as the increase in expenditures, but we just won't realize either side, the revenue or the expenditure. So that's a position that the foundation will create a contract position for now moving forward.
Thank you.
Hmm?
Any other questions for Nathan? Thank you, Nathan. Police Department, Chief?
Thanks. Two things I want to mention is, on the 21st of December, we had one of our police cars struck by an individual that was trying to flee from us. So the car sustained damage on the passenger side that we'll be seeking restitution for with this individual. Turns out, we ID'd him. He is in custody now. He was picked up by our federal friends who also wanted to talk to him. So that happened. And then also, just recently, one of our officers, obviously, you can see a lot of the same type of activity that's been current that we've been experiencing. But I want to mention, it's not on this report, but last week, we had we took some fentanyl from an individual and the officer started feeling ill. Everything is okay. But it was a little bit of a scare for us. So the officer was checked out and everything is okay, but that is out there and moving around, obviously on the streets, and we're coming into contact with it. We just didn't recognize it as something that we thought would be fentanyl until, we kind of made that determination. I think there was a lot of jitters from the officer and, rightfully so. So we just opted on the side of safety and got that individual officer checked out. So I wanted to mention that. Other than that, I'll let my report stand.
All right, any questions for the chief? Jenna?
Yes. First of all, I'm sorry about the car. That's really scary. Is the officer okay? Who's inside?
Yes.
Second is, do you have the fentanyl testing strips? Do police
We
have?
have kits to test it, but when something is like that and we think that there might be some sort of exposure, we're really not going to handle it too much. We're going to get that sent to a lab or something like that and leave it locked up and not try to handle it that much. But we do have fentanyl testing kits, drug test kits, for pretty much everything, as much as we can.
Any other questions for the chief? Yes, Lee?
Lee, Ward 1. Hi, Chief. I have received a couple of calls and texts from some residents who at least perceive that they are seeing an increased police presence with more cars and more lights, which I think is a good thing. And they also see the news where, the Kansas City murder homicide rates are through the roof. And so the questions I'm getting basically, if you could just give me a quick answer. if we are also seeing a measurable increase in, different crimes, types of crimes transiting our area, and if you feel like we're in a good shape to handle that appropriately.
I think that violent crime is on the increase. I've been pretty clear about that for a long time now, I think. We do experience it. The department knows firsthand about those type of crimes. In Fairway, we are very safe, but that's not to say that bad things don't happen here. We know what's transiting through the city. And then we also are aware of, individuals within the city too that could pose some issues. So we pay attention to everything. And if there's, as far as anything we can do, obviously staffing is something that's a big concern. Staffing is a huge concern in the metropolitan area. You mentioned Kansas City, they're down 300 officers. I am certain that that contributes to the crime stats over there. We are trying to pursue that as well. We've been in a process trying to locate people to come that are good qualified candidates to work in Fairway. We're a unique city. But as far as addressing it from a law enforcement standpoint, I think that you see that every month with the type of things that we're coming across. And then if you compare that to other cities around us, our level of activity is extremely high. And people are going to jail that are committing crimes. So I'm going to just hold to that and think I'm going to ask the community to help as well. If they're seeing something unusual, please call. But we're on top of it.
Lee, we are fully staffed with the exception of a budgeted officer that we wanted to bring on and have trained by the time 421020, the adult community opens, which is second quarter of 2025. But other than that, we are fully staffed.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions for the chief? All right, thank you. Public Works. Nathan,
Bill's obviously not here, so I'll let the report stand and I'll try to answer any questions.
any questions for Nathan concerning Public Works? All right, Parks and Rec, Bryce?
Thanks, Mayor. I put in a bunch of year-end statistics for your review in my report here, and also have the Santa Claus, some pictures in there, the Santa's workshop that went off very well this year. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Bryce? Oh, okay.
Bryce,
Oh,
I have-
sorry. Go ahead, Kellyanne.
Ladies first.
Kelly Busick, Ward 1. I wanted to thank you, Bryce, for all the hard work that you and your staff have done in this past several years. Each year, you achieve more, and it's just a wonderful thing to see. And I thank you guys for your hard work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Joe?
Bryce, I noticed that it's either Mission or Shawnee was dropping the price of their super pass. Does that have impact on you?
So Roland Park is the one that they dropped their membership fees into the Roland Park pool. So they've continued with the family membership, but they've slashed those prices for the residents and especially for the non-residents. As far as we might have some people that are the bigger families. We noticed some bigger families go to other pools last year due to the only individual memberships being offered in Fairway, no more family. So I'm sure that there's the potential to lose some memberships for families.
Were those primarily non-resident or resident that you noticed?
Non-resident, and that's only a portion of what we actually know. I mean, we don't have Roland Park's
yeah.
records or anything, but for the Super Pass, we know that there were close to 18 families that left Fairway to go to Roland Park due to the Fairway membership or to the family membership being offered.
Okay. David, did you have a question? No. Okay, go ahead, Kelly.
Can you give us an update on the bathroom at the pool?
Yeah, sure.
Thank
So
you.
they're hoping to start work in late January now. It's obviously not moved as quickly as we all would have hoped, but they are getting, they've submitted all their permit information and it's ready to be pulled right now. I think the door is what they're waiting on to match what we have at the pool right now. And it's required that it has to, have the internal mechanisms for the locks that we have out there too for the system. So that was being ordered, and I think that's coming in late, January, early February. Obviously, if they're gonna cut a hole in the wall, they want to have a door to put there and not just leave that open. So, I think that's kind of what the holdup has been so far.
Yes, Jerry?
Jerry, Ward Two, no question, but a thank you for the tour on a very cold Friday for the Parks and Recreation Department. Saw the parks and had a one-on-one with Jennifer at the Indian Mission. And I can tell you a lot of misperceptions and misinformation was cleared up in that meeting. So thank you.
Good to hear. There are a number of them out there. Yeah, so please share with your residents what's what. Thank you. All right, any other questions for Bryce? All right, thank you, Bryce. Monthly reports of the special committees, tree board, Nathan,
No report.
all right. Next on the agenda is a public comment for consent agenda items only. I will read those into the record before I ask for public comment. There are two items. Item A, approve minutes of the previous regular city council meeting. And B, approve claims and appropriations, ordinance number 1798, December 2023. Consent agenda items are determined to be routine enough to be acted on in a single motion. However, this does not preclude discussion. If a council member requests, an item may be removed from the consent agenda for further consideration and a separate motion. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda items? Seeing none here and no one is online.
Mayor, we do have one online, but
Okay.
there are no hands raised.
Okay, all right, then I will close consent agenda items, public comment, and ask the council if anyone would like to remove either item for either question or discussion. Nope, is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve consent agenda items A and B. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, moving on to new business. Item A, consider sign deviation request from Crossland Construction at 4210 Shawnee Mission Parkway. Nathan?
This was unanimously approved by the planning commission because it is a sign for a business or a commercial zoned area in Fairway. It comes before the planning commission, but you can see their intent is to screen the construction site on the security fencing that they have, and they provided some examples of what that signage might look like. It will follow the same requirements of all of our other signs in terms of it needing to be maintained in good order. So if we get 40-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow and whatever's there starts to shred, they'll have to get those replaced within 10 days. So the reason it's before the planning commission and the city council again is because it's on commercial. And also this is a deviation request because typically we don't allow signs this large. We also don't allow the quantity of signs for a single parcel on this. So that's why it's coming before you all.
And the name is,
It'll be called the Fieldston.
so now we know.
Yeah.
All right, any questions for Nathan? On this side, yes, Lee?
Lee, Ward One, is the intent to remove the signage once the building is completed? In other words, it's not intended to stay.
Correct. It's
For a
only
long
there
time.
for the duration. I think we require that it has to be removed in second quarter of 2025, which is the scheduled completion date. So even if they're not done and they want to extend it, they'd have to come back before you all.
Great.
Anyone else? No? All right, I'll open this item for public comment. Anyone in the audience or online wish to speak on this item? No? Okay, we'll close public comment. And I will Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we approve item A on the new business agenda, the sign deviation request from Crossland Construction at 4210 Shawnee Mission Parkway.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the sign deviation request. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Moving on to item B, consider 2024 CARS agreement for mill and overlay, spot curb repair, crosswalk, striping, and sidewalk on Row from 63rd Street to Shawnee Mission Parkway. This is a joint project with the City of Roland Park, City of Prairie Village, and the City of Mission. And Mission is the project lead agency. Nathan, you would cover this one?
Sure, it's a standard CARS agreement that we do every year. The only thing that's unique is the number of cities involved. But just as an example, the one for 2023 involved the city of Roland Park when we did 53rd Street. So this is pretty standard stuff. It gives us access to the CARS program and cost sharing and all that good stuff.
Questions for Nathan?
Jenna,
Jenna?
word 4. I know I brought this up with Bill and he assured me it's not going to happen during the school year, but I didn't see anything about specifically timeline within the agreement itself. So is there any update on that?
So that timeline would be part of the agreement with the contractor. So that it wouldn't be necessarily in the design parts of it. It would be with whomever the multiple cities agree with as far as terms of who is going to actually perform the work. The timeline restrictions would be in their contract.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Well,
David?
I would second that just based on experience of what happens on Mission Road around Prairie and more importantly, Shawnee Mission East. It always seems like they get those projects started right at the start of the school year. And it disrupts it all during the school year. So if there's any way we can gently encourage them to start at a time where they could be finished before school kicks back in, that'd be fabulous.
I would imagine there will be some not so gentle financial incentives for them to have not be doing it during school.
Anyone else? Okay. I will open item B, the CARS agreement for public comment. Anyone in the audience here wish to speak? Online? Okay, we'll close public comment and I will ask for a motion on this item.
Mayor, I move that we approve item B on new business, the 2024 CARS agreement for mill and overlay, spot curb repair, crosswalk, striping, and sidewalk on Row from 63rd Street to Shawnee Mission Parkway with the other listed cities.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this CARS agreement. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Passes unanimously. All right, item C on new business is the election of our city council president. Just one comment that I like to make before I open the nominations. The responsibility of the council president is to preside at any city council meeting for which the mayor is unable to attend. And this election is for a period of 2 years. That individual will hold that office for 2 years. I'll open the floor for nominations.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate both Councilperson David Watkins and Councilperson Jenna Brofsky.
All right, anyone else nomination? All right, I will close the nomination.
I'd like to preface the vote before we start. I want to thank David for all his hard work. You've brought a lot to the city council and you're very respected. For your reason, I really would support you for next term. However, matter of principle and philosophy, I firmly believe that all wards should get the opportunity to have a council president for their 2 representatives. And I'd like to nominate Jenna also for that office, but I would thank you greatly and respectfully for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. A person doesn't need to be nominated twice.
Well,
But- so-
That's okay.
But your comments were well received.
Stole my thunder.
All right, I've closed the nominations. So I will now open the voting and I will ask Nathan to do it by roll call, please.
Keys,
David Watkins.
Levin, Bailey,
I will respectfully abstain.
Story,
Jennifer,
Busick,
Jambrowski.
Williams,
Jennifer,
Watkins,
David Watkins.
and Broski.
Nabrowski.
Mayor, that is 4 for Broski, 3 for Watkins, and 1 abstention.
May I ask the reason for your abstention?
This is one of my weaknesses in life. I think both people are more than qualified for the position. And I think they both do a great job, and I truly just don't want to pick between two people that are equally qualified.
All right. Then Jenna is elected for the office. Congratulations, Jenna. All right, next on the agenda is the governing body comment. During this time, members of the governing body will be given the opportunity to speak about matters related to the city. No formal action will be taken during this time. Does anyone have an item they would like to bring to our attention? Lee?
Lee Story, Ward 1. I received a long email recently with a lot of photos regarding the tunnel and the entrances and exit ways to the tunnel, Shawnee Mission Parkway Tunnel. And I think we all know what the pictures look like. It's just in a state of disrepair. And I know I spent a lot of time with Bill, who was kind enough to walk me through the plan and the budget for this year. And it doesn't appear that this is part of the plan for 2024. So I guess my question is, or comment is, it looks to me like we could spruce it up, particularly with our 75th anniversary, really support the shops and, the kids go through there on their way back and forth to school. And I am not sure, but no one has said that we've had a bid to do anything to it. And it may turn out that it's a lot less money than you might think. Maybe not to completely overhaul the whole thing, but to make it look quite a bit better. So I'm just making a plea to maybe put that back into the council's consciousness. If we could at least get a bid on something that would improve the situation, I think there'd be a lot of residents that'd be pretty happy about that. Thank you.
Anyone else have an item they'd like to discuss? Jerry?
Yes, Jerry Williams, Ward 2. A similar comment. I received commentary from our neighbors about utility poles in the backyards. And I copied Nathan on an email. We have new poles going in by the Evergy, and it leaves the old pole in the backyard. They slice it off in half, and then the residents have to work with each communications company to come and remove their equipment before the old pole can be removed.
No, the residents do not.
Okay, well,
That-
our residents
that's-
are,
They don't, that's up to Evergy to coordinate that.
they will not.
Yes, they will.
Okay, they have not.
Okay, I will see that they do. That was part of the agreement,
Thank you.
yes. Anyone else? Okay. We'll close the governing body comment section, and I will open the floor for public comment for items not listed on the agenda. Is there anyone in the audience? No? Anyone online? All right, we'll close that section of public comment. And I believe we have a motion for the executive session.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I move that the city council recess into executive session to discuss an individual employee's performance pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter exception under KSA 75-4319 B1. I ask that City Administrator Nogelmeyer, Police Chief Thurlow, and City Attorney Cook accompany the city council. The open meeting will resume in the city council chamber at 7:20.
Is there a second? All right, it's been moved and seconded that we proceed to executive session. There will be no further business conducted when we reconvene. If everyone would go upstairs, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
I think we probably need a vote on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. Passes unanimously.
Thank you. And because we won't be conducting any further business, we're going to end the Zoom.
Wait.
We're going to end the Zoom transmission since there will be no
Okay.
further business.
Thank you.